The chains of Earth. The sky above New London was a dull gray, thick with the ever-present haze of alien smog. Massive Carthid patrol ships hung motionless like vultures waiting for carrion, their angular silhouettes blotting out what little sunlight managed to pierce the clouds. Below, the streets were quiet, lined with cracked concrete and broken glass. The people of Earth had learned long ago to keep their heads down. Commander Elias Ward shuffled out of the factory gates, his once proud Earth Defense Force uniform reduced to little more than rags beneath an oil-stained jumpsuit. The factory stank of burning metal and strange alien fuels, but worse was the silence. Men and women who had once been teachers, doctors, and soldiers now worked as little more than drones under the Carthid lash. He paused near the checkpoint where an armored enforcer stood, its chitinous body glistening under the artificial lights. The alien's forearms flexed as it hissed a warning, the muzzle of its plasma rifle drifting lazily across the crowd. No one dared make eye contact. Elias looked down, fists clenched. Once, he had commanded ships in orbit. Now, he couldn't even walk home without the alien's permission. A commotion broke out near the ration line. A boy, no older than 10, darted between the legs of the crowd, clutching a small bundle of bread. His eyes were wide with fear, his cheeks hollow from hunger. Before he could vanish into the alleys, the enforcer's rifle cracked. A searing bolt of blue energy struck him in the back. The child collapsed, twitching once before lying still. The bread rolled across the deck. No one moved. No one dared. Elias's chest burned with rage. Every instinct screamed at him to charge the alien, to tear it apart with his bare hands if he had to. But he didn't move. No one did. That was the Dominion's power, not just the weapons, but the fear they had etched into every human soul. That night, Elias sat alone in the shadows of a ruined church. The boy's face wouldn't leave his mind. He remembered the look of determination in those young eyes, the desperation for a single mouthful of food. It reminded him of Earth's spirit, the same spirit that had once carried humanity through wars, disasters, and endless trials. And yet here they were, silent in their chains. A soft knock echoed through the broken doorway. A young woman entered, her hair cropped short, her eyes sharp and unflinching. She slid a small device across the floor toward him. From the hidden flame, she whispered. Elias picked it up. The device flickered to life, projecting a grainy hologram, a burning Carthid patrol ship, spiraling out of orbit. Human voices cheered faintly in the background. The message was simple. We struck back. Join us. For the first time in years, Elias felt something stir inside him. Not just anger, not just grief. Hope. He closed his eyes, tightening his grip on the device. If they think we're broken, he muttered, voice low but steady, they'll learn what happens when humans fight back. Sparks in the darkness. The hidden flame did not meet in grand halls or secret bases. Their sanctuary was the forgotten places of Earth, abandoned subway tunnels, crumbling warehouses, the dark bones of cities left to rot after the Dominion's arrival. It was there that Elias Ward found himself, crouched among a dozen other men and women, the air thick with the scent of damp concrete and old rust. A dim lantern flickered at the center of the group. Its glow revealed faces marked by hunger and exhaustion, but also by determination. Some had been soldiers before the fall, others farmers, students, or engineers. All of them shared the same fire, the refusal to kneel forever. We can't keep letting them butcher us in the streets, Elias said, his voice low but carrying. They want us to believe resistance is hopeless. We have to show them they are wrong. A wiry man with grease-stained hands leaned forward. We've got scraps, old-com units, broken drones, a few explosive charges. Nothing that can dent their armor. Scraps are all humanity's ever needed, Elias replied. Give us junk, and we'll turn it into a weapon. The room hummed with murmurs of agreement. Far above, in the pristine command tower overlooking New London, Carthid Overseer Vela studied a holographic projection of Earth. His mandibles clicked in irritation. Reports scrolled across the display. Supply lines disrupted, drones vanishing, food depots torched. Nothing crippling, but persistent, like insects gnawing at the edges of a feast. These humans should have broken by now, he hissed to his adjutant. Every other species bows within a season, and yet they bite again and again. The adjutant shifted uneasily. Perhaps extermination, overseer. Vela's upper arms flexed, considering. Not yet. The council values their labor. But mark my words, if they continue this insolence, I will reduce this planet to ash. The raid came 2 nights later. Elias led the team through the shadowed ruins, their hearts pounding as they crept toward the convoy. The Dominion's supply crawlers moved slowly along the old highways, massive machines bristling with weapons, flanked by armored enforcers. The Resistance had no tanks, no warships, only clever hands and desperation. Hidden in the rubble, engineers rigged stolen fuel cells into makeshift bombs. A signal was passed down the line. Elias gave a sharp nod. The night erupted. Explosions ripped through the first crawler, shattering its armored plating. Fires licked the sky as Resistance fighters swarmed the column, hurling grenades cobbled together from mining charges. Plasma fire cut the darkness, but humans moved like ghosts, slipping between shadows, striking where the aliens least expected. By dawn, the convoy was nothing but twisted wreckage. Human fighters melted away before Dominion reinforcements arrived, carrying stolen weapons and supplies. For the first time, the people of New London woke to whispers of victory. The streets buzzed with forbidden hope. Children smiled. Families dared to believe. In the tunnels that night, Elias stood before his weary comrades. Smoke and blood clung to their clothes, but their eyes burned bright. This is just the beginning, he told them. They think fear will keep us quiet. But tonight, we prove them wrong. Tonight, humanity remembered who we are. And as the echoes of his words filled the cavern, the flame of rebellion spread. Fire spreads to the stars. The shuttle was never meant to fly again. Its hull was scarred from battle, its engines half-melted by plasma fire. The Carthage had abandoned it in a junkyard outside New London, dismissing it as scrap. To the Resistance, it was salvation. Elias Ward stood with a team of engineers and former pilots, their hands black with grease, their eyes hollow from sleepless nights. They had stripped every alien component they could scavenge, reactor coils from wreckage, guidance systems from broken drones, and even panels of human steel to patch the holes. "She'll fly," muttered Samir, the shuttle's new pilot, brushing sweat from her brow. "Might rattle apart the moment we hit orbit, but she'll fly." "That's all we need," Elias said. His voice carried no hesitation, though inside his stomach coiled with dread. If the shuttle failed, every soul on board would burn up in the sky. But if it succeeded, Earth's chains might finally begin to break. Far above, Dominion warships patrolled Earth's orbit in cold precision. They were sleek, disciplined machines of conquest, bristling with weapons no human craft could match. Also, the Carthage believed. The Resistance launched under the cover of night. The shuttle groaned, shuddering as its engines roared to life. Elias gripped the handrails, feeling every vibration rattle through his bones. The stars drew closer with every heartbeat. "Orbit achieved," Samir whispered, her voice trembling with disbelief. They had done it. Humanity had clawed its way back into the sky. But the victory was short-lived. Alarms blared as a Dominion frigate locked onto them. A voice crackled over the comms in harsh, guttural tones. "An authorized vessel. Power down or be destroyed." "Not today," Elias growled. The shuttle had no cannons, no shields. What it had was human ingenuity. The engineers had wired the engines to overcharge, creating bursts of plasma that could be vented like weapons. At Elias's command, Samir rolled the shuttle, spewing a blinding flare into the frigate sensors. At the same time, Resistance hackers jammed its targeting systems with loops of stolen Dominion code. The frigate faltered, just for a moment. It was enough. The shuttle dove close, impossibly close, slipping beneath the frigate's belly. The Resistance detonated their last improvised charge, a stolen mining explosive, magnetically clamped to the warship's hull. The explosion tore through its reactors, and for the first time in the occupation, a Dominion warship burned in Earth skies. Cheers erupted inside the shuttle. Some wept, others laughed wildly, the sound echoing through the rattling hull. Humanity had done the impossible. News spread faster than Dominion sensors could contain it. Across occupied Earth, whispers turned to shouts of triumph. And beyond Earth, on distant colonies where humans toiled under alien whips, the spark became wildfire. Slaves poisoned their masters, miners sabotaged Dominion tunnels, and soldiers in chains rose with stolen rifles. In his command tower, Overseer Vela watched the footage of the destroyed frigate in silence. His mandibles clicked in fury. They were supposed to kneel, he hissed. Now they think themselves warriors again. This is not resistance. This is contagion. Back on Earth, Elias stood before his comrades in the hidden tunnels. His face was streaked with ash, his uniform ragged, but his voice carried with iron certainty. They thought the sky belonged to them. Tonight, we proved it belongs to us too. This war has only just begun. The crowd roared. And above them, the stars no longer felt unreachable. They felt like destiny. When humans fight back, the Dominion's command station loomed in orbit, a fortress of black steel and pulsing light. From its spires, Overseer Vela directed the suppression of Earth, his voice carrying commands across the fleet. To the Carthid, it was a symbol of their eternal dominance. To Elias Ward, it was a target. The Resistance had gathered everything for this moment. Captured rifles, stolen shuttles, explosives built from mining charges and reactor cores. Ragged ships patched with earth steel hovered in hidden formation, trembling with the effort of staying aloft. Against the Dominion fleet, they were nothing but gnats. But gnats could bite. Inside the lead shuttle, Elias stood before his fighters. Faces smudged with oil and blood looked back at him. Farmers, engineers, miners, children who had grown into soldiers too fast. They had no uniforms, no banners, but their eyes carried the same fire. They thought fear would break us, Elias said. His voice was steady, cutting through the roar of engines. They thought chains would bind us forever. But tonight, we fight not as slaves. We fight as humans. And when humans fight back, he raised a captured plasma rifle. The galaxy remembers. A cheer thundered through the hold. Underscore 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 underscore. The battle began with chaos. Resistance shuttles darted between Dominion destroyers, too small to track, too erratic to predict. Hackers flooded enemy comms with false orders, jamming their formations. Explosives detonated along docking bays as human saboteurs boarded through emergency hatches. Elias's shuttle smashed into the station's outer ring, magnetic clamps anchoring them to its hull. Sparks flew as cutting torches carved through the metal. Moments later, Resistance fighters stormed inside, blasters cracking in the dark corridors. Vela's voice boomed across the station. Pitiful creatures. You dare defy the Dominion here? You will die as insects beneath our boots. Elias pressed forward through the smoke, carving a path toward the command spire. Every step was bought with blood, friends falling around him, their sacrifice clearing the way. The air reeked of ozone and charred flesh, but still they pressed on. At last, Elias burst into the command chamber. Vela stood tall, forearms spread wide, armored plates gleaming with alien pride. His mandibles clicked in contempt. You were meant to kneel forever, the overseer snarled. Elias leveled his rifle, eyes cold. You should have killed us all, because now, we're coming for you. The duel was brutal. Plasma bolts scorched the walls, claws slashed, blades sparked. Vela's strength was monstrous, but Elias fought with desperation honed into steel. In the end, he drove his blade into the overseer's chest, twisting until the alien's roar died into silence. When the Dominion fleet saw their command station burning, panic spread. Their formations shattered, retreating into the void. Humanity had won, not through superior weapons, but through defiance, ingenuity, and the will to fight. On the ruins of Earth's cities, survivors gathered under the open sky. Smoke curled above them, But for the first time in years, no alien ships patrolled overhead. Elias looked to the stars, scarred yet unbroken. "This is just the beginning," he said softly. "We fight for Earth today. Tomorrow, we fight for every world they enslaved." The people cheered, voices rising like thunder. And across the galaxy, the Dominion trembled, because they had learned, too late, what happens when humans fight back.